from Cancun, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Just kidding. All right, now Ted Cruz is a bastard. He left his poodle Snowflake. He abandoned not only millions of freezing Texans, but he left his poodle Snowflake. And what did he he named the dog Snowflake to own the libs? Is that okay?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Now he is a bastard.
Totally.
Person. Now he's a bastard person, and all of Texas hates him and his ass face, including his good friends that were on a group text chain.
With Heidi.
I was just telling you guys, I'm on a text chain with, I don't know, it's like 8 or so of my best friends. That is hilarious. That his friends leaked the. They're like, you know what? I'm going to get on this plane to Cancun, but I'm going to Ted Cruz up before I go. I'm going to make sure I send this text. Yeah. That's hilarious.
I love that
their friends read it. Yeah, Heidi sounds like a piece of work.
It's freezing here. Who wants to go?
It's freezing. Who wants to go to the Ritz in Cancun? Yeah. Does this story just get worse by the hour? And he's already a seditious bastard that should have been, right? First of all, we're not done with that. He should be expelled or in prison for inciting insurrection. First of all, we haven't even gotten to that yet. What? Oh, was that Seth Rogen? Where's that tweet that I love? There's a lot of, by the way, there is not enough F-bombs about Ted Cruz. Let's start with Beto O'Rourke. Do we have that one?
Yeah, it's on a conference call last night.
What's that? Oh, yes, Beto O'Rourke.
And though we did not defeat Ted Cruz, and I apologize to everyone on this call for that is the worst.
That is indeed the worst. Indeed the worst. I don't know. I misplaced my Seth Rogen one. Hilarious. But he just said, this mother. You thought sedition was the worst thing this mother was going to do. And you're like, oh, no. He's, oh, my God. And he just, lying Ted. It's the only thing Donald Trump ironically ever told the truth about is that Ted Cruz is a liar. And Donald Trump would know who's a liar and who's not. So the biggest liar in the world called the second biggest liar in the world a liar. We were like, all right. Yeah, he just kept lying and lying. So this was obviously... Okay. And it just gets worse in terms of, right? Oh, I did it. First of all, that is like the worst ever to blame your kids. Right?
Yeah. And he's still going with it.
Right. Here's an idea. How about you teach your kids to, in a crisis, you help other people instead of growing up to be rich little douchebags like your parents, right?
And
oh my God, it's such a tragedy. Can we get into the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun? Who wants to go?
We've stayed many times.
I also love that the people at the airline ratted him out too. Said no, he was originally booked to come back on Saturday. He wasn't booked to come back today.
Lindsey Graham was the one that said if you shot Ted Cruz to death in the Senate and the trial was in the Senate, no one would convict you, right? I mean, everyone hates Ted Cruz. I don't understand how he got elected. And by the way, all the conservatives, of course, are defending him because they will defend anything if it's a Republican, right? They're like, oh, well, what's he supposed to do? Right. Oh, I don't know. Beto O'Rourke's helping old people. He's on the phone doing outreach and going to houses and getting old people, heat and food and water. Like, what do you mean? What's he supposed to do? Okay.
AOC has gotten more aid to the people of Texas than Ted Cruz has.
Yes, Brian Tyler Cohen said the senator from Texas saw a crisis and escaped to the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun. Meanwhile, a congresswoman from New York, who that Texas senator regularly uses as a punching bag, just raised $1 million for Texans. One party works for you, the other party works for themselves. He's just one other awful example of what has become an awful, awful party, right? I mean, it's just... Okay. Yes, Brian again said, just want to reiterate, the Republican who won Texas Senate election is vacationing in Mexico, while the Democrat who lost the election is facilitating hundreds of thousands of wellness checks for seniors. I can't. Okay. Should we start with let's start. Is this with Flying Ted? This is Flying Ted originally?
This is the Morning Ted.
What's that?
Oh, boy.
Huh? Yeah. Did he have was that a
we have Timeline Ted.
Yeah, Timeline Ted. Do we have a...
Yeah.
Did he have, was that an American flag or a Texas flag he had?
Texas flag.
Texas
because
flag.
He's so concerned about Texas. At least he had a Texas flag when he flew away to the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun while you're freezing to death. But so, Texas, right? Got the flag.
Yeah.
Okay, here's Flying Ted.
Well, Texas is going through horrific storms, and millions of Texans have lost power, have lost heat, and have been hurt. And our family was among them. We had no heat and no power.
said the opposite on another radio show that day. He said we were one of the lucky ones. We did have heat and power. So this New York Times reporter went by and went to his house to investigate claims that he had no electricity or water. So they're saying blah blah blah. He said a neighbor informed me the block had indeed lost power before finally getting it back late Wednesday night. So they're saying,
and then that's when
he said a neighbor informed me the block had indeed lost power.
Poor little
before finally getting it back late Wednesday
all by himself. What a bastard person.
I mean, I know Mitt Romney, also a bastard person as it relates to dogs. At least he didn't strap the dog to the roof of the flight to Cancun. But I mean, you don't leave a dog home alone.
I'm assuming they got a dog sitter.
Well, we don't know that. The house looked empty and there was no one in there. And also,
whose dog's sitting
why?
Right now?
You know why we know he was alone? Why we know he was home alone? Because he was doing that Macaulay Culkin thing. He had both paws on either side of his face, and he was like, right? And they were on the plane. Snowflake!
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
When I used to dog sit when I was a kid, I wouldn't live at the person's house, but I'd check in on the dog, twice a day.
That should be against the Geneva Convention. You can't. No, dogs are not cats. You're a cat person. You don't understand. Dogs cannot be left alone. Period.
So you hire someone to live at your house 24/7?
Yes. Well, not 24/7.
Who has the money to do that?
Well, my dogs are also Pyrenees, so they're a little bit barky at night. Unless someone's here.
Okay. Snowflake is what? Pekingese or whatever? What is Snowflake?
Oh my God, you're so doggist. You're racist. You don't know the difference between my white dogs. They're all entirely different dogs.
The fight ones.
And you don't know the difference between any of them. Pardon me. Yeah. All right.
Well, okay. Poodles. Poodles don't need constant attention.
Oh yes, they do. Oh my God, you're such a cat person.
Check in on them twice a day. They're fine.
For God's sakes. Okay.
It's a latchkey poodle.
Yes.
I loved all the memes from Titanic of him trying to sneak back in the country dressed as a woman with a baby.
Yeah.
He was just
or he comes back with cornrows. Yeah, was that Cancun?
Okay, so and this is where he blamed. Did he think this was going to make it better to blame his daughters? Okay, here it is.
Yesterday, my daughters asked if they could take a trip with some friends, and Heidi and I agreed.
Will do. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right.
Dropped them off here, and now I'm headed back to Texas and back to continuing to work to try to get the power on. What's happening in Texas is unacceptable, and a lot of Texans are hurting.
You know what's unacceptable to a lot of Texans right now? You.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Selfish. Pardon me. Who does that? Look at, I'm turning into Seinfeld. Who are these people? Who does that? But seriously, who goes, oh my God, no water and power. Dozens of people have died. It's a tragedy. Hello, Ritz-Carlton, Cancun. Okay, I can't. Photos of the lovely, well, not if you're Donald Trump, but the lovely and talented Heidi. And
Heidi Cruz, yeah.
Right, and Ted boarding the flight ricocheted quickly across social media. The text messages sent from Ms. Cruz to friends.
Or friends.
Okay, I love my friends. And I'm just going to say none of my friends would rat bastard me out to the New York Times.
As far as you know.
Although I never really text anything except funny animal memes. So, I don't know.
Yeah, Rob and Trish would take those to the New York Times.
Yes, exactly. Their house was freezing in all caps. Oh my God.
Oh dear.
Heavens.
One solution. The Ritz-Carlton. Okay. I can't even. How many levels of douchebaggery are there in this story? Right. Well, kids have been having a hard time, and we thought, well, yes, most people. First of all, you're not supposed to be flying.
Yes.
It's a pandemic. You're not supposed to be flying. Other parents of the school that their kids went to were pissed off. They're like, it's a pandemic. You're not. They're supposed to be. Can you imagine another country? You're supposed to not. I mean, I did it, and I just went to North Carolina because my 98-year-old mother was in an emergency. They do it right. It's another country, and you're supposed to quarantine and test, and they didn't do any of that. They're just like, hello, let's go to Cancun. This is like, remember I told you the guy I saw somewhere here? I can't remember. No mask on the phone. I think I'm going to just hop down to Cabo tomorrow. I'm like, no hopping. It's pandemic. Okay. Okay, so, yes, Ms. Cruz invited others to join them at the Ritz-Carlton Cancun, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
where they had stayed many times, noting the room price, $309 a night, is and that they have good security. Oh, in case people find out you're there and what douchebags you are because you're in the middle of a crisis in Texas.
Right.
Oh, good.
Right.
Oh, and then Ted also used police resources during a crisis to, escort his cowardly ass because people hate him. Okay. The text messages were provided to the New York Times and confirmed by a second person on the thread. Okay. You're right. That's another level of just enjoyment of this. Of their, he did it. Right. And everybody's like, oh, it wasn't me.
Oh, there's going to be some sleuthing going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cruz intended to leave the impression that he meant to stay for only a day, but his large suitcase and the group text messages Ms. Cruz had sent, planning a longer itinerary, suggested that he had cut his trip short. Yeah, you think? NBC also reported separately Cruz had rebooked his return ticket Thursday morning when he got caught. Right.
That suitcase was not an overnight bag. Let's skip down to 12. So this is the back from Cancun, Ted? Okay.
Like in front of the hedges at the house.
Yeah, okay, here it is.
So the question from the video on the cell phone was whether the decision to go was tone deaf. Look, it was obviously a mistake, and in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it. I was trying to be a dad, and all of us have made decisions. When you've got two girls who've been cold for two days and haven't had heater power, and they're saying, hey, look, we don't have school, why don't we go, let's get out of here. I think there are a lot of parents that'd be like, all right, if I can do this, great. That's what I wanted to do.
Is there anyone out there that's a dad that feels like there's other ways to be a good dad in the middle of a crisis in which you're a leader? I'm just curious if there's no other way but to take your children to the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun. Right.
Did you notice
the kids are...
Yes, he noted the private school his daughters attend in Houston was closed this week. Some other parents at the school were incensed when they heard about his international trip because of the pandemic and school policies that have discouraged such travel abroad, for one. Okay. Yes, Cruz had been acutely aware of the possible crisis in advance. In a radio interview on Monday, he said the state could see up to 100 deaths this week. So don't risk it, he said. Keep your family safe and just stay home and hug your kids. Oh, I see. If you're the peon, stay home. But if you're a rich douchebag, you take them to Cancun to the Ritz-Carlton and presumably hug them there. Is that...
Did you notice in that clip, too, by the way, you can hear the people in front of his house chanting, resign?
Yes. There's a giant sign when he got back. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Wait. Funny one. Hang on. Andy Lesnar. What is he? Ellen's producer. He said, sorry, Mexico, we're not sending our best. Okay. We are not sending our best. Some of them are douchebags. Okay. It's everything we need to know about Ted Cruz, right? And we haven't even gotten the sedition trial. Is that like we just skipped over the sedition and the also being a part of inciting riots that killed people? It seems like that's a little worse. I mean, I'm a dog lover, so Snowflake is high on the list for me. However, it still comes under violent overthrow of the United States government. Yes, Chris.
Right. According to New York Magazine, Ted Cruz asked his security detail to house sit for the dog.
Oh.
So they were there house sitting and taking care of Snowflake.
It's a good use of resources.
I'm telling you, it's that douchey check-in on the dog once in a while thing, which is not how you do it with dogs, Chris. I'm just saying. Okay.
That's what we did growing up.
Well,
with our dogs.
You are obviously you're a family of bastard people, much like the Cruzes. Okay, 20 minutes after the hour.